up, everybody? This is Lady Love, and I'm coming to you live. Why? Because it's Love's Voice Day. So I am here today to bring, as we have been doing for weeks now, we're doing 20 women talking about 20 women in the Bible. And today I have another heavy hitter. I have a young lady by the name of Destiny Taylor. She is out the way from South Carolina, over there in Moncks Corner, South Carolina. And she is going to talk to us today all about this woman by the name of Naomi. Now, you yourself are an entrepreneur.
Yes,
Absolutely. So I just want y'all to know that after this thing is over, I will put up some information about her and her business and everything. And y'all just, bless her. But she is here today to talk to us about Naomi. So I really do appreciate you for coming on to the show today and to talk to us about this lady, Naomi. What can we learn from Naomi?
Thank you for having me. This is definitely an honor. I appreciate it. Naomi, however you want to pronounce it. Pretty interesting woman. The book doesn't really talk much about her from the book of Ruth regarding that book in the Bible. However, what it does talk about is her behavior toward the people around her. So it's a lot of good characteristics of who she is in her actions toward people. So she's famously the mother-in-law of Ruth. And in that, she's pretty, she's a widowed woman, first of all, as the story begins. And, she was married, she had children, so she became a widow and also lost her children. So she kind of went through a lot of traumatizing losses in her life in a very, even it doesn't talk about the time span in which her husband died to her children, but I can only imagine losing a husband or children in any time in life, and living to see it is hard. So she lived a life that was full of things to get through, but seemingly triumphant, obviously, through it. So that was one quality I did pull from it. She didn't really give up. She did recognize it was hard, but she didn't throw in the towel and give up on life.
Yeah.
For sure. So that was one of them. Her husband, his name was Elimelech. And she had two sons who married two women.
Yes.
And one of those women, like I said, famously are Ruth.
Yes.
Ruth is a very popular woman in the Bible. Many people reference her.
Yes.
Naomi plays a big support role to her daughter-in-laws after they experienced the loss of their husbands, which are her sons.
Right.
And I loved it because after her children died, her daughter-in-laws wanted to stay with her. So she was like, you know what? You guys are young. You have a lot of life inside of you. You can give a lot of life.
Yes.
And she goes, go back to your homes, go back to your mothers,
yes.
Go back to your family, and figure it out. Live again, basically.
Yes.
And she didn't have anything to give them. I don't have no more kids. That's it. Our journey has come to an end.
Right.
So one of her daughter-in-law said, okay, I'm going to go back home, do my thing.
Right.
One of her daughter-in-law said, I really don't want to go back home, and just studying that, just kind of going into Ruth, I wasn't clear on the fact that Ruth had really anything to go back home to, or if she just wanted to continue her life forward, which is pretty cool. So Naomi, in that instance, she was like, hey, your sister-in-law went, you should go. You guys are young. You guys can be a wife to somebody else's, son. Go, enjoy your life. She goes, no, I'll forfeit the life that you think I should have for the life that you may journey into. Yeah. And Naomi didn't really fight her. She was like, okay, you're going to be here, then be here. All right. The cool part about it was just studying Naomi. She was from Bethlehem, and I'm assuming this is the same Bethlehem that Jesus was from. So if not, then I'm just wrong. But she was from a city. Okay. She was from a city of Bethlehem. And when she got back, because she had gone through so much, the Bible talks about that when she got there were people in the city who recognized her because she was there. That's where she was from.
Right.
And they were like, Naomi, is that you? And she was like, that ain't me. No, look over here. Like she had been like, she was embarrassed. It looked like it, at least what the scripture said, because it quoted that she said, when I left with a lot. And when I came back, I almost came back with nothing.
Right.
So that's really embarrassing. Like you leave out with a bang, you have everything, you look like you got it all made. And then you come back and you literally have almost little to nothing that you left with, whatever that was, And it seemed like she went through that phase of being embarrassed when she came back home, but just realizing even though she was embarrassed, home was always going to be home. Like that's still home.
Yeah.
So she went through those motions of, obviously getting back home and getting back to town. And one thing I noticed interesting was that she gave Ruth really good advice when she got there.
Yeah.
So she goes, go try to pretty much go get some work. Bottom line, go try to get some work, and try to get yourself pretty much back into the swing of things. And you'll know who wants to welcome you to, get the work that you are looking for,
right?
Basically. And so, so the cool thing about it was when she got there, I saw her as a woman who was given good insight or good intel to environment, and just being a great woman. So a great characteristic there, just being very resourceful, not leaving her daughter-in-law to figure it out.
Yes.
But telling her, hey, think about this. Look over here. Pay attention to that. Yeah. You're in another city, so I'm going to tell you how to
scoop. She had an inside scoop. So she
correct
get to her. She kind of gave her that love. Hey,
exactly.
You might want to go over here. Right.
Right. Exactly. So she was like, we got family here. She knew that, but she still wanted to make sure her daughter-in-law was like probably good enough to follow those instructions and follow it through.
Right.
So one cool thing about it, another cool thing about Naomi that I really did take to was also that when she got there, I noticed either two things happened. When it did come down to Ruth getting to know Boaz, either two things happened. Either when she got home, everybody was talking about Naomi when she got there, because nobody knew about Ruth in Bethlehem. I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
Somebody called me. Okay.
Okay.
So looking at the story, nobody really knew about Ruth when she got back to Bethlehem.
Okay.
One thing that was for sure was that there were people in Bethlehem who knew Ruth.
Yes.
So there was.
They knew Naomi.
Naomi.
Yes.
There we go. That's why you're the host. Fix me. So not a lot of people knew about Ruth, but they knew Naomi. So when Naomi came home, there was talk about Naomi and, what she'd gone through, what she'd been through. Who knows? The Bible doesn't really talk about how the news got around back to Boaz, but it talks about that it got around. Or he knew the story about Ruth before she got there. So in my assumption, I said two things happened. Either Naomi came and had a conversation with Boaz about the situation of his life, or since Naomi was for people who were her friends or just family members, people she communicated with who talked about her, because according to, understanding what Bethlehem wasn't really like, it wasn't, it was a great city, but it's a city anyway. It's like any big city. You think it's small. So people start talking. And then your business is all over the news, all over the place. Right. So
exactly,
either those two things happen. Yeah. So throughout that whole story, like I said, just really supportive. So Naomi's out there, doing her own thing. Ruth is out there learning. She's getting to know people. She meets Boaz in the process. He is enlightened to who she is and where she's come from. He takes a liking to her. But through that whole process, Naomi coaches her. So she plays a huge support role. She's like the cheerleader, not really making Ruth what she is, but cheering her on for what she could be. And I was like, just thinking about that in, a lot of, relationships with, mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws. That's a healthy relationship. There was no overstep of boundaries. She wasn't possessive for her to come with her. She wasn't like, well, my sons are gone and you're going to leave. Once again, had a very appropriate relationship with her daughter-in-law. Yes. A lot of times you'll hear some mother-in-laws kick daughter-in-laws out or not give them the love that they need, kind of put up a wall.
Yes.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be a hard thing that happens, or is a result of it. It could just be that, there are preset feelings and motives and just emotions ahead of time that
Right.
we're present, and that's it.
Right.
And you unfortunately have that, or there are, some daughter-in-laws that ain't trying to be friends with the mother-in-law. It's what it is. However,
Right.
this is a great template for that healthy relationship. It's
Yeah.
completely appropriate.
Yes.
It was just genuine. It was completely genuine, as if she was not just a daughter-in-law, but she treated her like a really good friend.
Yeah.
Very authentic, very neutral. I don't think had Ruth not picked a family member, because Boaz was family to Naomi.
Yeah.
If she had not picked him or said, you know what, I want this to be my husband, I believe Naomi would have still been very neutral to say, you know what, if you don't want to pick him, pick somebody who would care about you, be with someone who wants to love you. I don't really believe that would have been a problem for her, because she was still giving her good insight, but never enough to guide her or whip her into shape. Like, no, let me crack the whip on you this way. Like, here's good information. You can take it or not, and then run with it. I love you. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm done. Right.
But one thing about Ruth, sometimes it's difficult to talk about Naomi without talking about Ruth a little bit.
Correct.
Because Ruth was one of those people who noticed that there was something different about Naomi. The meaning of Naomi actually was joy. And that's why when she lost her husband and she lost her sons, that was at around the exact same time, according to the research. And so one thing that happened to Naomi, the reason why the word got out is because she wasn't what her name was. Her name meant joy. And so she got very upset. She got very, very sad. So then she decided to, don't call me Naomi, call me Moira, because that meant sadness, because she was so, just to be blunt about it, she was so depressed by the fact that she had lost all of her posterity. In those days, men were your posterity. So that's how you lived as a woman. That's how and your children is how your name became great. And that's why everyone in Bethlehem knew who she was, because she came from a good stock before she even married him, and then they left. So that, like you were saying, I mean, Ruth gleamed on the fact that there was something different about Naomi. And just like you said, she kind of guided her and was like, hey, look, live your life, and that was wonderful. But at the same time, just like you said, had she not adhered to what Naomi said, she still would have loved her, just like you mentioned.
Very neutral, right? Yeah, I love that about her. She's just she really did what a mother-in-law should do, which is like a regular mother. Take off the in-law to grow, to nurture what's around her as far as what she claims as family, or playing that motherly role as a mother would nurture in general. And she just was very, like I said, teaching, very wise, very neutral, as a good friend. So she played not many roles, but she played all of them well in one title, because according to Ruth, that was still her mother-in-law. Like, nothing changed.
Yes.
Even though her sons were not there. So it even got down to the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I just was going.
Uh-oh. Oh yeah, she was definitely down for her. Now I need you to repeat what you just said, because we're now recording.
Okay. So, one thing that I also loved about Naomi was that after Ruth got married, she married Boaz. They had a child, and they named the child Obed. Naomi was there to nurse the child, which I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah. So she really stayed close and just loving in her relationship to Ruth, and just being there. Like, she was the most neutral, just a good relationship. Probably was one of the greatest friends to have also. But she was just there. And for somebody to love you, love your child, love anybody that comes into your circle, be neutral, not force you to do anything that they want you to do, not be manipulative, encourage you to enjoy your life and live it.
Right.
That's a beautiful relationship. That's a beautiful friend. And to have that in a mother-in-law, I can only imagine me not being married. So I can only imagine that would be, if I could pick like the qualities of a mother-in-law or to have that desire, that would be the one. Like that would be the template. And for mother-in-laws, I feel like who don't really know how to be a mother-in-law to their daughters, that's a perfect, that's a perfect template to use.
Yeah.
Daughter-in-laws who don't know how to be a good daughter-in-law to their mother-in-law, there's a template in that whole story for them too. So it's pretty interesting. I like it. I like it.
Yes. I agree with you. I thank God every day for my mother-in-law. She is amazing.
Yeah.
If there was another example of a Naomi, then she would definitely be it. She just has been an amazing mother-in-law. I don't even call her mother-in-law, I call her mom. So, I think that
Right.
it's a wonderful thing to have. Not everyone has it, but I think that this is also an example of taking the wisdom that comes from someone who has already been through the process. And so
Right.
Naomi is an excellent example of how to or what to look for, meaning the qualities. And so I think it's a great thing, and I appreciate the way that you brought her to light, brought her forward, so that way people would be able to have a moment in time to be able to study Naomi a little bit more. And I do appreciate you so much. So ladies and gentlemen, help me bless this young lady who took her time out of her entrepreneur, all big time working ethic.
Oh,
She got over here. I mean, she's got a Ruth ethic, baby. So I'm just wanting to put that out here. Now, y'all heard her say that she's not married. I'm just saying, mamas, if you're in the South Carolina area, this is a good one. Right? No, but
that is
I do
so
want
funny.
you
You're right.
to bless her. I am going to put her Cash App information right about here, and I want you to bless her. If she blessed you, bless her, please. Thank you so much, Destiny, for being on my show
You are
and
so
for taking the time to explain your lady and bring her to such a wonderful light. I really do appreciate it. Now,
you are so welcome, beautiful.
ladies and gentlemen, we will be back. We will be back next week. I will see you soon. And y'all remember to have a lovely, love-filled, lovely day. Bye-bye.